struggling with prop firms? Let's go.
This by far, compared to all the videos out there, is probably going to be the most valuable in terms of liquidity and areas of liquidity, what areas you need to watch out for, by far, right? And I don't want to make this video too long. So the topic is basically, and to simplify as well, is whenever you see by the way, these are not zones, it's an indicator, and this is just telling us where the liquidity is getting built up in trend lines, right? It's focusing on trend line liquidity, and this is basically, and the most simple way to put it is, if anyone's thinking what on earth am I talking about, you want to look at it as this is basically where stops are, right? People that we've seen in a bullish movie here, people are thinking, you know what, we're going to power stops below these lows or these highs, and market's going to shift and go to the upside from here. And so you're just going to start off, just go from the USD JPY from the past, and we're looking at on a Monday. Okay, so what basically the idea is that the big players, the markets players, whatever you want to call them, so if you're looking for buys, this is giving an indication now the market is going to get swept down. By the way, first of all, just want to give a props to this particular student, simply because it's all come from him. I even made a student, this particular student, going by the name of Jason. It's absolutely been killing it and crushing it. And let me just give you an example of what I mean by crushing it, right? If you go in the winning trade, by the way, link will be in the video description. He's one of my elite mentorship students, part of the one-to-one mentorship students. So basically, this particular student here is just catching 1-to-9s, 1-to-15s, and he's making it look easy. And everyone in the Discord community who's in it, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And he's basically already learned my concepts, but combined it with liquidity, which is already liquidity sweeps and all that. And he's putting up broker trades, so he's none of this, like he's catching monster moves, and he's making it look fairly easy. 12-to-1s, 1-to-9s, 1-to-15s, and so on. So this will obviously information will be also get into the elite mentorship. Obviously I'll be going to combining it with my strategy, but this is just going to be on the concept and obviously how it can benefit, because everything works in trading. All right, I want to point out everything works in trading, but it's all about if it suits your personality. So I'm going to try and make this super simple, right? We've got our stops here, example of everyone, what I mean by that. And if you don't know what liquidity is, basically you are the liquidity, as the saying goes. So at some point we know market's going to fall, because we've got all this liquidity built up here. Everyone's putting their stops here. The market's going this one already got swept here. You see this wick, huge wick. Look at this, all this trend line liquidity. This gets swept and boom, right? Gets taken and continues going, pushing up further. Now the idea is for the market to come either down here, right, or even push further up, it needs liquidity, right? I'm going to keep everything super simple. It needs money to push up further or lower. Again, I'm just going to explain this as if I'm explaining to a 5-year-old so everyone understands. So at some point it's going to come further down. So let's just hit that play button, right? So whenever we see blue, at some point, look at more liquidity is getting built, it's going to come down further. Look at this. And whenever we see a red, right, either it's going to sweep this and push further down, sell side liquidity, or it's going to go on a sell side rush, liquidity, have a liquidity rush, and just keep pushing up further. So when this was formed, at some point it's going to push up, right? And no, it's not a lagging indicator, because look, it let us we found out much earlier on. So press play and look at that, takes it out. So remember, you see that blue, if you can rewind it back as well, there was a blue trend line, like liquidity, and it took it, this came down, swept it. These haven't been swept yet, right? These haven't been swept yet, as we can see. So at some point it's going to collapse, right? This. So what does it ready mean? At some point Now it doesn't have to mean all the distance be covered. No, these highs, some highs have to be taken out. It just needs enough to push, go in the opposite direction, or just keep pushing in that same direction. So if I hit play, look at this. Remember, there's some highs here. It swept that. It's going to push further down. Look at this. Some buy side liquidity rushed through, and it got swept. So look at this. It's crazy how this works. Look at this again. These highs here, you can see over here, these got swept. Buy side here. Now all this liquidity is still left, right? All this needs to get swept. Look at this. Now people start buying over here, thinking market's going to go further and further up. Press play. Let's press play. It's starting to get swept here. Look at this. Another liquidity gets here. All this gets swept. More, remember, all this still needs to get taken, and then boom, straight down. All this gets taken in that one push, right? And let's keep on going. Now look at this. At some point, it's gonna fall. At some point. Remember, look at this. This gets swept as well. I mean, look at this. You just okay. At this point here, we're going bullish. We're just going bullish. At some point, we don't know when. And sometimes it might all this getting swept. Now, some might say, let's just say, right, because this is not something random. I've just pulled up a random chart, so I don't even know if this is going to get swept in the future sometimes, but right now it's not. Now, some might say, well, oh my god, I was waiting for an opportunity to take a sell, so all this gets swept. No, wrong mindset. The idea is at some point it's going to get swept, right? But so far, we're just going to go on with what we can, right? And for example, what I'm trying to say is you want to apply this to your own trading concept. Now, as you can see, this gets swept, this gets swept. Now, if I'm going, for example, 1 to 4, 1 to 3, or a 1 to 5, which I normally go for, let's just say this trend line gets created here, this has just been swept. Now, does this mean while I'm down here and I'm running at a 1 to 4, let's just say my entry was from here, trading my break or retest, and my trade comes down here, right? Does this mean I'm going to hold the position so it comes flying all the way down here just because I see this? Now, very possibly could happen, but no, always get the piece of the cake, not the full cake. But let's continue watching this, what happens, because we are starting to push further, a little bit further down. Okay, look at this. This sell side gets liquidity. Look at this. It's starting to get taken. Buy side liquidity again getting created. And remember what I said. 1 minute. Let me just. It doesn't have to be that the whole move has to get taken. Why? Because it can just be the highs and the lows. These lows were created here. Boom. Swept all this. Right? Swept all this. Now, again, I hope you understand the idea. I don't want to go into too much detail because it just wastes a lot of time. Now, combining this, now obviously you can go on different time frames, right? Now, the market is obviously going to hunt the bigger time frame liquidity, right? Let's go on a small, let's go on a bigger time frame. And even if I go on a much bigger time frame, right? Look at this. Lows were created here, right? Swept. Market trend line created here, right? Boom, broken. You know, took it all. Highs created over here. Because market starts falling down here. It takes some more liquidity down here. Market starts pushing further up. We've got all this trend line here. We've got these highs over here. Gets swept. We got this low over here, this low over here. This all gets swept. Now you might think, how would we know when it's to do a YouTube? It'll give you, the market will give you a reaction, right? If it's not giving you a reaction, it's just going to keep on falling, right? For example, this gets swept. Market keeps on going bullish, bullish, bullish until there's a big bearish candle comes. It's giving you a reaction, starts falling. Market comes here, starts falling, falling, falling. Takes all this, doesn't give a reaction until the bullish candle forms. Giving a reaction, boom. Right? And if I press play, just keep watching this on the 1 hour time frame, will be much faster. Look at this. All this gets swept through this. Look at the sell side here, boom, gets swept. Very, very simple and yet very, very powerful. Now, let's combine this with the break and retest. Right? So what do we see over here? On the 1 hour time, obviously on a bigger time frame. I'm going to be going into obviously with my break retest that I showed my in the mentorship, I'm going to be obviously making the videos for the course, and we're making the videos for mentorship, so everything will be updated there. But this is something I just want to the average trader, everyone to see, right? That like liquidity and all that, I've never really applied it, never really looked too much into it, but I thought, because I'll be honest with you guys, it was super complicated for me. I'm just showing you the most simple format, the absolute most simple way. Now you can see here, liquidity was built here, right? Lows over here, there are lows over here, market when you say boom, straight down, took everything out. If I go on a smaller time frame, right, swept all this, and now look at this, all this liquidity is built over here. Now at some point, because even the 1 hour time frame on USD JPY, all this area could get taken, all this. So some people might call this, well, it could be a trend reversal, or start of a bull trend, or however you want to call it, right? Whatever you want to call it, but it gives you a bit of a guidance, right? Or a market, insight to a little bit of market direction. I think is very, very powerful. Definitely worth looking at. And also, if I show you on the USD JPY, sorry, Euro GBP, sorry. Look at this trend line, right? Got swept here, trend line over here, got swept over here. All of this taken out. And if I was to even go on a much smaller time frame, look at this. Liquidity is built up here. This is a high possibility it could collapse here. And look at this. How can we use this to the break and retest, right? Again, that's what we're going to show, supposed to show on the USD/JPY. But look at this. Liquidity gets built here. Price breaks through, sweeps that liquidity, breaks through my zone. So this tells me now, okay, we've got the, we're looking the big players. They've hit these stops. Now it's like a catalyst, right? We've broken through the zone as well. Much higher probability that the market could go pushing further down. Over here, right? Again, we've taken all this, so we're just going to market to continue pushing further down. Over here, these highs here, market sweeps that all this liquidity here, comes down, tests up my zone, boom, straight up, right? And I'm keeping this super simple. Look at this trend line created over here, breaks through this zone that's created over here, retests the zone, continues. The market always needs a catalyst, guys. It needs fuel, right? Look at these as fuel stations, gas stations, petrol stations, whatever you want to call it. It's just fuel. That's all it is, right? That's all we are looking for. And if you even look at this on a much smaller time frame, you will see and understand. I mean, even on a small time frame, boom, breaks through, comes down. Look at this, retest, shoots up, right? It's got a smaller time frame, which we already are. Look at this, breaks through, sweeps all this liquidity, comes down, retest, boom, straight. It's got the fuel now, right? But this is no man's land, not any zone basically here. But look at this, all this liquidity here, sweeps it in one push, then pushes in that direction. And I'm sure I can pretty much find a zone here. Sweeps this, breaks through. But obviously in this case, remember, it's not 100% win rate strategy, but as you can even see from the examples, it will still give you a decent win rate combined with a nice risk to reward as well, right? It's very, very powerful. I'm going to be obviously uploading more videos into the mentorship, so any of my students watching right now, check it out there. But yeah, so it's something that you can take. By the way, just in case someone's going to be like, okay, this is the name of the indicator, stratify trade, liquidity trend line with signals. Try it out with your strategy. Hope it helps. Take care. Like, subscribe, share. Take care. I'm out.